Did you know that more than 68% of people over the age of 70 are undergoing unnecessary medical tests without even realizing it? And sadly, many of those tests are not only useless, but may actually shorten your lifespan. They can cause anxiety, lead to incorrect treatments, and make your health slowly decline. According to a study often referred to as the Mayo Clinic of the West, most current testing standards are still based on younger bodies. This means they are not suitable for older adults. So what is really happening during those routine checkups you have trusted for years? Could those very checkups be silently making you more tired, more worried, and taking away the peaceful moments you deserve in your golden years? In today's video, I will walk you through 5 shocking reasons why health checkups after the age of 70 may backfire. I will also show you the only 5 tests you truly need in order to live healthier and more fully each day. If you are over 60, please watch this video to the end. It may change the way you take care of your health every day. Which country are you watching this video from? Let us know in the comments below. Are you facing a similar situation? Feel free to share it with us. I always read every single message from you. At the age of 40, a slightly high cholesterol reading might be seen as a warning sign for heart disease. But at the age of 80, that same number could be considered completely normal. The human body does not stay the same as time goes by. It changes slowly but surely, little by little, every time you step into a new age group. That is why using health testing standards meant for younger people on older bodies is a quiet but serious mistake. Why is this so dangerous? Because many doctors, even those who truly care, are still working in a system that follows a one-size-fits-all approach. This means that an 82-year-old man might be evaluated using the same measures as a healthy 42-year-old man, but are those two bodies still the same? You already know the answer. A report from Harvard Medical School has shown that using standard test ranges that are not adjusted for age can lead to incorrect diagnoses in over 40% of older adults. This not only causes unnecessary worry, but also pushes people into taking medications, going through more tests, and even treating health problems that they never actually had. So if those standard numbers no longer fit, what should older people rely on to truly understand their health? We will explore that more in the next section. Starting with a story that may seem small but carries a deeper message. The first reason is that standard guidelines often lead to false diagnoses in older adults. I still clearly remember the story of Mr. Hank Miller, a neighbor who lives just down the street. He is now 76 years old, still strong, moving around easily, and spending his afternoons tending to a few tomato plants in his garden. But after a routine health checkup, the doctor noticed a small spot on his lung in the scan. No one explained exactly what it was. They simply advised him to do a few more tests just to be sure. From that day on, Mr. Hank's life seemed to turn upside down. He started waking up in the middle of the night filled with worry. He was anxious, fearing it might be a sign of cancer. Every time I saw him in the yard, his eyes carried a heavy burden of fear. 6 long months went by with endless follow-up tests, scans, and tissue checks. And finally, the result was this: nothing serious. It was just a harmless mark commonly found in older people. When he got the result, Mr. Hank gave a soft smile and told me, "For the past 6 months, I thought about dying every single day. And in the end, there was nothing at all. A tiny harmless spot had caused a healthy man to live in fear for nearly half a year. What was meant to be a preventive health check had become a mental burden. Instead, this is the result of applying one-size-fits-all testing standards to every age group. In medicine, this is known as overdiagnosis. When something that is not truly serious is mistaken for illness, simply because the test standards are not adjusted for age, According to the Journal of General Internal Medicine, the so-called normal values for younger adults do not represent what is healthy for someone over 70. That leads to many older people being labeled as at risk, even though their bodies are functioning just fine in the natural rhythm of aging. Mr. Hank's story is not rare, and that is only the first example of what can go wrong with misguided testing. But beyond the confusion caused by numbers, the deeper danger lies within the mind, where fear and uncertainty can slowly chip away at your health, day by day, hour by hour. The second reason is that the stress of waiting for results can weaken the immune system. My Aunt Lucy, now 72 years old, is what many would call a model patient. Every year she goes through a full health checkup, never missing a single step. She takes her medication on time, eats carefully, and always cooperates fully with her doctors. But that very thoroughness led her down a long and exhausting path that no one in the family ever expected. All it took was one blood reading that was slightly outside the normal range during her routine exam. The doctor suggested further testing to get a clearer picture. Feeling unsure, Aunt Lucy visited 3 different hospitals for second opinions. Then, during one of the biopsies, the small incision unfortunately became infected. She had to take high doses of antibiotics, which caused digestive problems that lasted for more than 6 months. She once said, "That checkup is what made me truly sick." It sounded like a joke, but it was a painful truth. Health does not just live in the body, it also lives in the mind. Every time she waited for test results, she tossed and turned at night. The more she thought, the more she feared. The more she feared, the weaker her body became. Anxiety does not show up in a blood test, but it slowly seeps into every breath, every night of sleep, and every moment of unexplained fatigue. A study from the McMaster University Institute for Behavioral Medicine found that long-term stress can reduce the immune system's strength by more than 30%, especially in people over the age of 65. This makes the body more vulnerable to infections, slows down recovery, and increases the risk of chronic conditions. When the mind grows tired, the body begins to weaken too. And what is most unfortunate is that all this exhaustion did not begin with a real illness, but with a fear born from one number that may not have even mattered. Maybe if she had been told differently, what Aunt Lucy needed was not more testing, but a kind reassurance like, at your age, the body changes, and that number is still acceptable. The third reason is that medications based on misleading results can cause harmful side effects. My mother is now 79 years old. She has always eaten sensibly, gone to bed on time, and has not been hospitalized for nearly 20 years. But after a routine health check, the doctor told her that her cholesterol was slightly above normal and prescribed statins, a common medication used to lower cholesterol. Trusting in early prevention, my mother began taking the pills every day. Just a few weeks later, she started complaining about muscle aches. Every time she stepped up a stair, she had to hold the railing tightly. Her arms and legs felt heavy like stone and were no longer as flexible as before. At first, we thought it was just aging. But when she could no longer lift her usual pan in the kitchen, I began to have doubts. After doing some research, I found out that statins can cause muscle pain and weakness in older adults, especially when they are not truly necessary. We went back to the doctor. When we asked, is that cholesterol level really dangerous at her age? The doctor hesitated for a moment and then admitted, actually, for someone over 60, a slightly higher cholesterol level may even help protect the blood vessels better. We stopped the medication. Just 2 weeks later, my mother was walking around the yard again, and her smile had returned to her face. This is not advice to stop taking your medication. It is a reminder that every pill has two sides, and sometimes it is simply not needed, especially when it comes from a number that does not match your age group. A study from the Journal of Gerontology at Tufts University found that over 45% of older adults are taking at least one medication they do not actually need. In most cases, it all began with a routine test result. And when medicine is used wrongly, it does not just affect your muscles, it can also disturb your sleep, cloud your memory, and lower your mood. That is not the path to healthy living. That is a path to quiet exhaustion that no one truly wants. The fourth reason is that financial strain quietly steals joy from old age, Mr. Walter. An old friend of my father's once had a simple but meaningful dream. After retiring, he saved up little by little for a year-long road trip across the United States in an RV. He wanted to visit all the places he had read about in books, national parks, small towns, and cozy roadside diners full of country charm. But that journey never came true. The reason was not a serious illness or anything critical. It was simply a series of routine health checkups that found a few numbers to keep an eye on. Every month brought a new test, a new prescription, a new appointment. In less than a year, he had spent nearly $0 on medical services that showed no clear benefit to his health. And just like that, his travel fund was replaced by a growing stack of medical bills. When I asked him if he felt any better, he gave a quiet smile and said, "Honestly, I feel more tired, more worried, and I still don't really know what I'm being treated for." That answer truly made me pause, because health is not just a matter of biology. It is also the feeling of living fully, living happily, and living freely within your own means. A 2022 report from the U.S. Center for Health Policy stated that nearly 40% of people over the age of 70 are spending more than 20% of their retirement income on non-essential medical services. Most of these start from routine testing and preventive treatments. For many, this means letting go of small joys like dining out, buying a concert ticket, or simply taking a walk in a new city. No one denies the importance of medical care, but when staying healthy becomes an expense beyond your means, it begins to take away the very things that give life its true quality. And old age, more than any other stage of life, deserves to be lived in ease and peace, not in constant worry about the cost of the next appointment. The fifth reason is that every test carries its own biological risk. Uncle George, my mother's older brother, is now 81 years old. He has always maintained the habit of getting annual health checkups. Not long ago, his doctor suggested a colonoscopy to prevent cancer early, even though he had never shown any unusual symptoms. Trusting the familiar advice that prevention is better than cure, he agreed without hesitation. However, after the procedure, he began experiencing severe abdominal pain. Within hours, he was taken to the hospital, where doctors confirmed that his intestine had been perforated, a rare but real and serious complication, especially in older adults. He had to stay in the hospital for nearly 10 days, receive quota fluids, antibiotics, and rest at home for over a month from being a healthy man. He stepped into age 82 with exhaustion and a significant decline in physical strength. Many people still think, what harm can a test do? At most, it's just to check for peace of mind. But the truth is that every test is an intervention, and the older the body gets, the harder it becomes to recover from each one. Whether it is an injection, a biopsy, or a contrast dye used for imaging, the elderly body responds differently than a younger one. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Medicine warned that the risk of complications after a colonoscopy in people over 80 is 4 times higher than in those in their 40s. These risks include perforation, infection, and internal bleeding. But unfortunately, most patients and their families are not clearly informed of these risks before the procedure. No test is completely harmless. And as we grow older, the line between benefit and harm becomes thinner. What we need is not more tests, but the right tests. And that decision cannot be made by buying a prepackaged annual health screening. Old age is not the time to gamble with numbers on a test report. It is the time to choose wisely, to be gentler with the body, and to only intervene when truly necessary so that one small risk does not disrupt a life that was otherwise peaceful. After going through all the worries, confusion, and consequences of the wrong kind of health checkups, you may now be wondering, what is the right way to care for your body after the age of 70? Skipping all tests feels risky, but continuing with too many tests brings mental exhaustion and financial strain. The answer lies in smart and informed choices. According to recommendations from geriatric experts in the United States, there are only 5 tests that are truly necessary for older adults. What makes them special is that they are preventive, easy to do, and do not place a burden on your life. The first test you should keep is daily blood pressure monitoring. High blood pressure is called the silent enemy because it causes no pain and shows no obvious symptoms. Yet it can quietly lead to stroke or heart failure. The good news is that you can monitor it right at home using an automatic machine. My father is now 81 years old. Every morning he checks his blood pressure and writes the number in a little notebook. He says that number is like looking into his own face. It tells him whether his body feels strong or needs rest today. The second test you should not skip is blood sugar monitoring to catch early signs of diabetes. Many older adults only find out they have diabetes after sudden dizziness or unexplained weight loss. But by then, the disease may have already affected their vision and nerves. In contrast, when found early, diabetes can be controlled with a simple daily walk and a balanced diet. My neighbor, Mr. Smith, once brought his blood sugar back to normal just by walking 30 minutes each morning. The third important test is bone density screening. As we age, our bones become more porous and fragile, making even a small stumble risky. My mother was diagnosed with osteoporosis at age 67. Since then, she has taken calcium regularly and done light exercise. Now, at nearly 80, she still climbs stairs and walks to the market every morning. The fourth screening is vision and hearing checks. Losing these senses not only affects daily activities, but can also lead to loneliness, depression, and even memory loss in older adults. When hearing fades and vision dims, people gradually withdraw and lose their sense of connection. The final test, but no less important, is screening for depression in old age, long-term insomnia, unexplained sadness, or loss of interest in life are not just signs of aging. They may be symptoms of depression. The good news is that when recognized early, gentle emotional support and a stable routine can bring a person back to a normal life. All 5 of these tests are simple, painless, and do not create extra burden. Most importantly, they help you understand your body better, understand it to care for it, not to fear it, know when to act, what to do, and how to live. That is the foundation of strong, lasting health after the age of 70. As we look back on today's story, perhaps you have started to see senior health through a different lens. It is no longer about long columns of numbers on a test report. It is no longer about the fear of missing hidden illnesses. It becomes a journey of living with awareness, knowing your own body, and choosing only what truly matters. The 5 shocking reasons we explored have revealed a quiet truth that many overlook. That widespread Non-personalized health screening can sometimes do more harm than good. It can lower your health, increase your anxiety, and take away the peace you deserve. From using standards that do not match your age to the stress of waiting for results, the side effects of medication, the quiet financial burden, and the biological risks of tests, each one is a wake-up call. Yet, alongside these concerns, the 5 essential tests we mentioned stand as simple but lasting supports. Monitoring blood pressure, checking blood sugar, bone density, vision and hearing, and depression screening. These are not tools to find disease. They are here to help you maintain a life that is full, safe, and in your control. Just changing one small habit a day, like checking your blood pressure in the morning, walking for 15 minutes in the afternoon, or drinking a glass of water on time, can begin a gentler, wiser journey to caring for your health. If you found today's content helpful, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with your loved ones. We will continue to bring you more about nutrition, exercise, natural herbs, and simple tips for healthy aging. Which of these tests are you currently using? And do you have any questions about health after 70? Leave us a comment below. We always read every message from you and look forward to being your companion on this journey.